Hey, third grade. Yesterday we started reading chapter 11 of Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, and it was they visit Auntie M's Garden Gnome Emporium, and we found out that Auntie M was actually Medusa. And now today we're going to find out, do they escape Medusa's lair? I hope so. Here we go. All right. How could I have been so stupid? Think, I told myself. How did Medusa die in the myth? But I couldn't think. Something told me that in the myth, Medusa had been asleep when she was attacked by my namesake, Perseus. Well, she wasn't anywhere near asleep now. If she wanted, she could take those talons right now and rake open my face. The gray-eyed one did this to me, Percy, Medusa said, and she didn't sound anything like a monster. Her voice invited me to look up, to sympathize with the poor old grandmother. Annabeth's mother, the cursed Athena, turned me from a beautiful woman into this. Don't listen to her, Annabeth's voice shouted somewhere in the statuary. Run, Percy! Silence, Medusa snarled. Then her voice modulated back into a comforting purr. You see why I must destroy the girl, Percy. She is my enemy's daughter. I shall crush her statue to dust. But you, dear Percy, you need not suffer. No, I muttered. I tried to make my legs move. Do you really want to help the gods? Medusa asked. Do you understand what awaits you on this foolish quest, Percy? What will happen if you reach the underworld? Do not be a pawn of the Olympians, my dear. You would be better off as a statue. Oh, less pain. So much less pain. Percy! Behind me, I heard a buzzing sound, like a 200-pound hummingbird in a nosedive. Grover yelled, Duck! I turned, and there he was in the night sky, flying in from 12 o'clock, with his winged shoes fluttering. Grover, holding a tree branch the size of a baseball bat, his eyes were shut tight, his head twitched from side to side. He was navigating by his ears and nose alone. Duck! He yelled again. I'll get her! That finally jolted me into action. Knowing Grover, I was sure that he'd miss Medusa and nail me. I dove to one side. Thwack! At first, I figured it was the sound of Grover hitting a tree. Then, Medusa roared with rage. You miserable satyr! She snarled. I'll add you to my collection! That was for Uncle Ferdinand! Grover yelled back. I scrambled away and hid in the statuary while Grover swooped down for another pass. Kerwhack! Ah! Medusa yelled, her snake hair hissing and spitting. Right next to me, Annabeth's voice said, Percy. I jumped so high, my feet nearly cleared a garden gnome. Jeez, don't do that! Annabeth took her Yankees cap off and became visible. You have to cut her head off. What? Are you crazy? Let's just get out of here. Medusa is a menace. She's evil. I'd kill her myself. But Annabeth swallowed, as if she were about to make a difficult admission. But you've got the better weapon. Besides, I'd never get close to her. She'd slice me to bits because of my mother. You've got a chance. What? I can't. Look, do you want her turning more people into innocent people into statues? She pointed to a pair of statue lovers, a man and a woman with their arms around each other, turned to stone by the monster. Annabeth grabbed a green gazing ball from a nearby pedestal. A polished shield would be better. She studied the sphere critically. The convexivity will cause some distortion. The reflection size should be off by a factor of... Would you speak English? I am. She tossed me the glass ball. Just look at her in the glass. Never look at her directly. Hey guys, Grover yelled somewhere above us. I think she's unconscious. Roar! Maybe not, Grover corrected. He went in for another pass with the tree branch. Hurry, Annabeth told me. Grover's got a great nose, but eventually he'll crash. I took out my pen and uncapped it. The bronze blade of riptide elongated in my hand. I followed the hissing and spitting sounds of Medusa's hair. I kept my eyes locked in the gazing ball, so I would only glimpse Medusa's reflection, not the real thing. Then, in the green tinted glass, I saw her. Grover was coming in for another turn at bat, but this time he flew a little too low. Medusa grabbed the stick and pulled him off course. He tumbled through the air and crashed into the arms of a stone grizzly bear with a painful ugh. Medusa was about to lunge at him when I yelled, "Hey!" I advanced on her, which wasn't easy, holding a sword and a glass ball. If she charged, I'd have a hard time defending myself. But she let me approach. 20 feet, 10 feet. I can now see that the reflection of her face, surely it wasn't really that ugly. The green swirls of the gazing ball must be distorting it, must be making her look way worse. You wouldn't hurt an old woman, Percy, she crooned. I know you wouldn't. I hesitated, fascinated by the face I saw reflected in the glass, the eyes that seemed to burn straight through the green tint, making my arms go weak. Don't listen to her! Grover moaned from the cement grizzly. Medusa cackled. Too late. She lunged at me with her talons. I slashed up with my sword, heard a sickening shlook, then a hiss, like the wind rushing out of a cavern. The sound of a monster disintegrating. Something fell to the ground next to my foot. It took all my willpower not to look. I could feel warm ooze soaking into my sock. Gross. Little dying snakeheads tugging on my shoelaces. Oh, yuck, Grover said. His eyes were still tightly closed, but I guess he could hear the thing gurgling and steaming. Mega yuck. Annabeth came up next to me, her eyes fixed on the sky. She was holding Medusa's black veil. She said, "Don't move." Very, very carefully, without looking down, she knelt and draped the monster's head in the black cloth, then picked it up. It was still dripping green juice. Are you okay? She asked me, her voice kind of trembling. Yeah, I decided, even though I felt like throwing up my double cheeseburger. Why didn't the head evaporate? Once you sever it, it becomes a spoil of war, Annabeth said. Same as your minotaur horn. But don't unwrap the head. It can still petrify you. Grover moaned as he climbed down from his grizzly statue. He had a big welt on his forehead. His green rasta cap hung from one of his little goat horns, and his fake feet had been knocked off of his hooves. The magic sneakers were flying aimlessly around his head. The Red Baron, I said. Good job, man. He managed a bashful grin. That was really not fun, though. Well, the hitting her with the stick part, that was fun. But crashing into a concrete bear, not fun. He snatched his shoes out of the air. I recapped my sword. Together, the three of us stumbled back to the warehouse. We found some old plastic grocery bags behind the snack counter and double-wrapped Medusa's head. We plopped it on the table where we'd eaten dinner and sat around it, too exhausted to speak. Finally, I said, "So, we have Athena to thank for this monster." Annabeth flashed me an irritated look. Your dad, actually? Don't you remember? Medusa was Poseidon's girlfriend. They decided to meet in my mom's temple, and that's why Athena turned her into a monster. Medusa and her two sisters who helped her get into the temple, they became the three Gorgons. That's why Medusa wanted to slice me up, but she wanted to keep you as a nice statue. She's still sweet on your dad. You probably reminded her of him. My face was burning. Oh, so now it's my fault we met Medusa? Annabeth straightened. In a bad imitation of my voice, she said, "It's just a photo, Annabeth. What's the harm?" "Forget it," I said. "You're impossible. You're insufferable. Hey," Grover interrupted. "You two are giving me a migraine, and satyrs don't even get migraines. What are we going to do with the head?" I stared at the thing. One little snake was hanging out a hole in the plastic. The words printed on the side of the bag said, "We appreciate your business." I was angry. Not just with Annabeth or her mom, but with all the gods, for this whole quest, for getting us blown off the road and in 2 major fights the very first day out of camp. At this rate, we'd never make it to LA alive, much less before the summer solstice. What had Medusa said? "Do not be a pawn of the Olympians, my dear. You would be better off as a statue." I got up. "I'll be back." "Percy," Annabeth called. "What are you?" I searched the back of the warehouse until I found Medusa's office. Her account book showed her 6 most recent sales, all shipments to the underworld to decorate Hades and Persephone's garden. According to one freight bill, the underworld's billing address was DOA Recording Studios, West Hollywood, California. I folded up the bill and stuck it in my pocket. In the cash register, I found $20, a few gold drachmas, and some packing slips for Hermes Overnight Express, each with a little leather bag attached for coins. I rummaged around the rest of the office until I found the right size box. I went back to the picnic table, packed up Medusa's head, and filled out a delivery slip. The gods. Mount Olympus, 600th floor, Empire State Building, New York, New York. With best wishes, Percy Jackson. "They're not gonna like that," Grover warned. "They'll think you're impertinent." I poured some golden drachmas into the pouch. As soon as I closed it, there was a sound like a cash register. Cha-ching! The package floated off the table and disappeared with a pop. "I am impertinent," I said. I looked at Annabeth, daring her to criticize me. She didn't. She seemed resigned to the fact that I had a major talent for making the gods mad. "Come on," she said. "We need a new plan." That is the end of chapter 11. Tomorrow we'll start chapter 12, which is called "We Get Advice from a Poodle." I wonder what that advice is going to be. Can't wait to find out. I will see you tomorrow to find out what that is. Bye, guys.